It is very creepy. I do have chains on my jeans because I am hip.
I wondered where you were going with that. And you're like, I do have chains that I drag around behind me when I decide to go invisible.
I do have belts of chains on them because, once again, I'm down with the kids. What's up, witches? It's Claudia here, and I have some exciting news. Finally, we have created a Patreon. So you can find us at patreon.com/truecrimecovinpod. At the moment, there is only one tier. It's the familiar tier, and it's just where you can chuck us £1 just to help keep us going every month. We aim to expand on this and create new tiers and exciting content. But for now, if you'd like to support us in this way, please do go ahead. That's patreon.com/truecrimecovinpod. Enjoy the episode, guys.
What's up, witches?
Hi, I'm Claudia.
And I'm Jess.
And welcome to
True Crime Coven. Hey, Claudia.
Hi, are you alright?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. Oh, my chair's creaking already. How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm back in Bristol tomorrow.
That's very exciting.
It is very exciting. I've been in Kent for 2.5 weeks.
Has it been nice, though, being home? Like, obviously, I know you're home for...
I mean, it's not home, really. That's the thing. I grew up in more London, and I'm not the biggest fan of where my mum lives in Kent.
Okay.
Neither is she, to be fair. But yeah, but it's been nice to be with my mum, despite, like, you know, why I'm here and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been all right. It's been nice to be with my cat that was my 21st birthday present.
Yeah.
Been nice to be with him.
Yeah,
But yeah, nice. It's been very much a busman's holiday, as they call it, busman's holiday.
Yeah. Well, it's nice
I
that
thought I was making that phrase up as well when I first said it. But it is
Here we are. Well, it's nice that we can actually record together. I feel like it's been a while since we recorded together.
I know, and also if my audio sounds weird, I'm very sorry. Normally, I'm obviously at home. So that's at my
You were going to say your boyfriend's house.
Normally I'm home and able to use my boyfriend's very posh equipment that I would in no way be able to afford.
Yeah.
But I'm making do with... If I say I'm making do with my Galaxy earbuds, as if like they're not expensive, but my boyfriend also bought me those for Christmas. So if my audio sounds a bit weird, that's why.
I think it sounds good considering.
Yeah, considering I'm literally using my mum's laptop and. Yeah. Also, I was thinking this the other day. So, do your parents ever accuse you of like breaking their computers or like sending them dodgy websites when they're absolutely normal things?
No. But I don't really send my mum and dad stuff.
Oh, so like my mum, I was like, oh, can I use your laptop? She was like, yeah. She was like, but don't do whatever you did to my last one because you broke it. What? What do you think I do to them? And then I sent my dad a link to something for my birthday the other day. I was like, oh, I like this. And he was like, I think that website's dodgy. It's not working properly. I was like, it's Etsy.
Oh.
What do you mean that website's dodgy? It's Etsy.
Okay. That's weird. Yeah. I don't get accused by my parents, but I don't really send them things. But we did, like, we've got a shared album for Orla, obviously, so we can post pictures of her, and it's just the family that see it.
Yeah.
Rather than, like, putting it on social media. And to make things easier, I'm just going to say my uncle. But my uncle was like, oh, you've sent me a link to like a Chinese website. And I was like, no, I haven't. What have you done? Like, all you had to do was click the link I sent you. And he was like, yeah, I went straight to a Chinese website. And I was like, how? It worked for everyone else but you.
Honestly, like, I'm not like shaming my parents here because I'm well aware that they've like taught me how to feed myself and how not to poo my pants and all that. Like, I completely am not shaming them, but I'm like, maybe it's you. Yeah. Because I haven't done anything. However, Mikey had to go at me because I downloaded too much custom content for Sims and made his computer slow.
But custom content is the best.
I know, but I got told off. Anyway.
Oh, well.
So
moving
obviously
on.
our episodes have been a bit all over the shop lately in terms of like they've not been alternating with our weeks.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for bearing with us. But you know, we've at least we've brought out content is what I want to say. Also, Jess, you've got the best angle of me right now.
I know, I was just looking at, because this isn't a great angle. Oh, well, I see. This isn't a great angle of me. I'm just post-shower.
I look like a cockatoo.
Your fringe is doing some funky things today.
My fringe is all up in the air. I've got no makeup on.
It doesn't help that you do keep doing, you do keep spiking it up.
My roots are next level, but I'm going to dye them next week just before my birthday. Oh, yeah, so by the way, It's my 30th, guys. Woo!
Woo!
I will be 30 by the time this comes out. Oh my god, look at her, she's 30.
Oh my god, it will, because I keep thinking this is coming out Monday, but it's not. It's coming out the Monday after, isn't it? So yeah, you will be 30.
She's a 30-year-old woman.
You're old.
When do I start feeling like an adult?
Do you know, I ask myself this all the time, because I'm like, I have my own house and a mortgage. I have a husband. I have a child. I still do not feel like an adult.
I know, I'm like...
I still don't feel like I have my shit together.
I have a degree in nursing. I am a nurse.
Yeah.
I
have a full-time job.
Long-term boyfriend. We rent together. We have little furry dependents. I have my own car on finance, which seems very... For some reason, that seems more grown up than owning a car, in some ways.
Does it?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm keeping up with payments.
Yeah, I guess in that sense.
Banks, I've got a loan that I'm keeping up with payments. Like, at what point am I an adult? I think it's when I stop randomly dyeing my hair.
No, I know adults with like pink and blue
hair. Oh yeah,
hair.
I'm completely going to be 80 and like, yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like, you know.
But no, I agree. Like, what point? I guess you're as young as you feel.
Oh god, I'm fucking ancient then.
You're just mooning about not feeling like an adult, and now you're like, actually, no. I've missed adulthood, and I've gone straight to elderly.
Mate,
I've gone from teenage.
I am constantly tired. Elderly. I spent the day with 2 children yesterday, and it was the most tiring day. It was a lovely day. But I was knackered.
It did look like loads of fun on your Instagram, to be fair.
It was so lovely. So for context, I went out with my friend Vicky, who I've been friends with since we were like 6 or 7. So like over 20 years. We lived down the same road growing up. We were in the same class at school. We were then in the same class at secondary school. We then worked together for a bit. We walked to school together every day for 7 years. She slept at my house like the whole of summer holidays. Like we were literally inseparable. And we've remained friends, and she's got 2 little girls who are 10 and, I want to say like 6 or 7.
Okay.
And they're brilliant, but oh my God, I was so tired. Like, hats off to parents. Hats off to you, Jess. But she doesn't talk back yet.
Not yet, but I've had, because it's half term and obviously I coach cheerleading, we've had a mad week. So on Tuesday, from 2 till 8, I did what we call flyer privates. So there was me and my 2 friends. We basically threw children around, teaching them how to be a top person in cheerleading.
I'm glad you said in cheerleading, because tops mean something else in other circles. Things that children should never be.
But yeah, all the way from, we started at 2 and finished at 8. So that was knackering. And then yesterday I went to Ninja Warrior with my team because they had a social, and I was like, I'll go and I'll take Orla because they've got like a baby and toddler bit.
Baby Ninja Warrior.
So I was like, okay, yeah. Baby Ninja Warrior. It's just a soft play. And so I went to that. And then today I did tumble privates. So that's like 1-to-1 with a child, teaching them how to tumble. And I started at 10 and finished at 5. So now I'm just knackered.
So, ghost stories.
Yeah, ghost stories. So the first ghost story we've got is from Skylar. Now this is Skylar's third story, so she
Thank you,
sent him 5
Skylar.
in total.
You are
But
keeping this podcast going, girl.
literally, but her first 2 were actually on the Haunted UK
I've listened to it.
podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah,
did you like it?
I did like it.
Creepy, right?
Yes, very creepy.
Yeah,
Very
as he was.
excited for Steve's latest season.
Yeah, so I think season 4 is just coming out. I think he's got 1 episode out, maybe 2.
Guys,
I can't
will
remember
go
what
and
day they
listen
come
to
out.
that.
By the time this comes out, he'll probably have 2, maybe 3 coming out. So,
And by the time this comes out, also we will have released your collab with
yeah,
Joe from
The Ugly Game.
The Ugly Game, yes.
Yeah, that's a very good podcast.
So go and check out The Ugly Game. Go check out Haunted UK.
Yeah. The Ugly Game was such a weird one to do because we recorded separately and then Simon's just going to
Stitch that together.
Yeah, edit it together. And I'm excited to see how it turns out. So.
Oh, also, we now have a TikTok account, which everyone listening is probably aware of because I have been shouting it about. But we have a TikTok account. It's obviously True Crime Coffin Pod. At the moment, there's only videos of me. But Jess is going to get on there when she can as well. It's going to be, little snippets about cases. It'll also be a few facts and statistics. It'll also be a bit lighthearted at times as well. But it's just a new platform we're getting to grips with. So come and follow us on there.
Yeah. It's just another way of us branching out and trying to not be too old before our time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, right. So anyway, back to where we were.
Yes.
Are you ready for Skylar's story?
I am ready for Skylar's story. Thank you, Skylar.
Hi, ladies. Skylar here again with a story from my adult years. I went to university that was built on an old military base. The base is called Fort Ord. It was a very large army base where they would do a variety of military things, from boot camps to actual military operations and specialised training. A few years after the government closed the base, California State University, Monterey Bay, was founded on the more centralised part. I have a lot of stories about this place, and this is where my next story takes place. Halfway through the semester, we had to do a semester check-in with my humanities professor. This was mainly to help out with one of our papers and ensure we were keeping on top of workload, etc. This meeting took place in her office. When I went to her office, at first glance of the building, from the outside, it was very unassuming and plain, as was the inside, but it was oddly shaped. It was a large rectangle with a courtyard and a little lawn in the middle. All the offices had doors open into the centre, facing the courtyard. The whole building felt off to me, and I felt uneasy being there. I later found out that the building was the base's old on-site military prison, and you could feel the anger in that place.
Ooh.
And that's the end of her third story. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a military prison.
I guess if they need to have one, it's the same as like a lot of boats have them, like even cruise ships have like not prisons but like somewhere to hold people if
Cruise
they need
ships?
to be detained. Yeah,
What?
most ships will have some sort of like not prison but like detention place where they can.
Even the
a
Disney cruise
jail.
ships? I mean, there was a disappearance from a Disney cruise ship, and maybe we'll cover it one day. Disney
doesn't
has tried to
surprise me.
cover that out.
Lots of sneaky shit happens under the radar at Disney.
Well, I'm going next month.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
One of my new favourite TikTok accounts goes into like untold.
Oh yeah,
like,
loads of people die at
stories.
Disney and they cover it up.
Oh my
Not
god!
loads of people, but like people obviously die sometimes
Yeah,
in places, and they
but-
happen to be at Disney. But Disney will cover it up because
Yeah,
it's meant to be a happy place.
yeah. Anyway, anyway, back to Skylar's story. Tangent.
But yeah, I can imagine it would be pretty angry and negative energy and quite oppressing.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously nothing happened, but I can imagine if she had to stay there longer. Like, imagine that being your office.
Yeah.
And you just always had that feeling.
Yeah, it doesn't make for a very good working environment. That's a hostile working environment, if ever I heard one.
It is. I wonder if the people who worked there have stories of things happening, or just always like that, have that feeling of, like you said, being angry, hating work, and then leaving the building. Yeah, and even just like leaving the building made you feel better.
Yeah. Also, this is a tangent, but I feel like it's a good story.
Go ahead.
Well, it's a very short story. I remember when I went to Reading one year, and obviously at Reading Festival, it didn't use. I don't think it's as rowdy as it used to be.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't camped there for over 10 years, but when I went when I was 16 or 17, on the last nights, everyone used to like go around and basically riot and like try and set off people's tents on fire and stuff. It was a whole thing. And I remember when everyone got rowdy, they would, like, you know, like those big metal gates of sort of like big, they've kind of almost got like big shoe, like big, they're not like concrete blocks on the bottom, but they're like blocks on the bottom. Always think they look like big long shoes, but they're like rectangles.
Yes. Yeah.
They just ended up making a pen out of those and just putting all the troublemakers in, and it was so funny to walk past. There's just like loads of people just in this thing like, "Oi, let me out!"
And you're like, "No, you're being a dick. Stay in there."
I also remember I was friends with a really like quite quiet, like well-behaved guy called Martin. And one night we couldn't find him, and we all like kind of joined like a riot thing, but not like, obviously you're just kids.
Yeah.
And we're all like shouting things and that. Got to the front of the riot and he's fucking leading it. And we were all like, Martin. But anyway, that's by the by, but it just really reminded me. Oh. But yeah, no, I can imagine very, very oppressive energy, and I suppose if it's a military prison and that was used for war, then there's a lot of animosity.
Probably, yeah.
And obviously people maybe aren't treated very well.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Well, thank you, Skylar. Like I said, you're keeping the podcast alive.
Literally. Have you ever been to Bodmin Jail?
I've never been to any jail. Because I'm a good girl, Jess. I'm not rough like you. You definitely come from better stock than me, but...
but yeah, it's a tourist attraction.
If you say so.
But I've been there, and
We've been there.
That's quite a creepy place. And again, that's got quite, like, a weird vibe. Like, you can feel the vibe in there. It's not... As soon as you walk in, it's
like it's a palpable,
there's something
like,
about
oppressiveness.
it. Yeah, it's a bit of a, like, the atmosphere feels heavier.
Yeah.
When you go in there. So I know what she means. Like, I felt that when I went to Bodmin. Obviously, didn't see anything, but
that's what I imagine a lot of asylums to feel like. Very heavy.
Yeah.
Never been to an asylum either, which is actually surprising. But I'm definitely more likely to be committed sectioned than you are. But
yeah, there is an old prison near here. I think it's about an hour away, maybe less than that, and you can stay in it overnight, but it's like 50 quid.
Yeah, like I could spend 50 quid on a nice hotel room. Or...
It's the experience though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I like the experience of a nice hotel room.
Fair.
Like, honestly, what's better than a nice hotel room? You don't have to make your bed, it's all clean. You don't have to clean your shower.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I will happily go to a prison. I don't want to stay overnight. I at least want to have the fun of committing like a minor crime if I'm going to stay overnight in prison. I might as well get
Okay.
like done for like drunk and disorderly, you know what I mean?
Okay, I was going to say, where are you going with this? What crime are you committing?
Drunk and disorderly.
Drunk and
Not
disorderly.
abusive to anyone, just, love, let's get you to the sales and save you out for a bit.
Yeah.
And I wake up in the morning and I'm like, do you have vegan breakfast?
Having a wee on the side of the street. Come on, ma'am.
Oh, mate, I'd be so embarrassed. No, that would embarrass me so much. I would be so shamed.
I'll look after you this weekend.
Thanks.
Or next weekend. But
Thanks.
yeah. Make sure that doesn't happen.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't want to start my 30th in a... Well, also, I can't. I'm going to enter Shikari on my actual 30th.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
So when's that, the Sunday?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely can't be in a prison cell
No.
on the Saturday.
No. I've got things to do.
Things to do, people
Bad
to see.
boys to see.
Are you ready for the cryptid?
Always.
This week's cryptid, we are staying in the UK, but we are going to head up to the north of England.
North of England or north of the UK?
North of England.
Oh. Whereabouts?
Yeah. North of the UK is Scotland.
Well, that's why I wasn't sure.
Well, otherwise I would have said Scotland.
Well, I never know with you.
I'm not that bad at geography.
We're both that bad at geography.
Not that bad at geography. I'm bad at geography, but I'm not that bad that I'd say the north of the UK instead of Scotland. I also have Scottish friends who would come for me if I said that.
Do they listen then?
Probably not to this
Exactly.
podcast, but
Are they
if
really
they've got
friends then?
Hey, rude. No, they're more cheer friends.
I'm saying they're rude for not listening.
Oh, that was loud. Okay. Well, so the reason I'm being quite general with just the north of England is because it comes from like a few different places around the north of England.
Okay.
So today we're going to look at the European and English folklore of the Barghest.
The
Have you ever heard of
Barghest?
it? The Barghest. Yeah.
The Barghest, as in the bar guest.
Barghest.
Ah.
If you were to break it down, it would be bar guest, but it is one word, so it's like Barghest.
Ah. You're a
I
bar
did-
guest.
Not now. I'm a house guest in my own house.
It just sounds like a slur, doesn't it? Like, you're a bar
Yeah,
guest.
it does. But to be honest, there was like 3 different ways of spelling it and 2 different ways of pronouncing it. And Barghest was the easiest one for me to say. So you may know it as something else. But this is what I'm going for because it's the easiest
If
for
you know
me
it as
personally
something
to
else,
say.
you're wrong, we're right. We're big,
Yeah.
you're small.
Suck it. I'm joking. But it is most commonly associated with Yorkshire. However, it is prevalent all over the UK. So it has been like seen in the southwest of England, in Wales, in Scotland and Ireland, but it tends to go by different names in different areas of the country.
I mean, to be fair, we can't even decide what a bread roll's called, so...
Yeah, how can we decide what a cryptid's called? But if you Google Barghest, everything comes up under this one.
Bit like a bread roll.
Bit like a bread roll, yeah. So there are actually a few theories as to where this name comes from. Mm-hmm. And the 2 most common phrases that it's thought to come from are town ghost and mountain ghost. Because apparently, this is all according to the internet, not to me personally, so don't come for me if you are from the north of England. But apparently, saying ghost in a northern accent sounds very similar to guest.
Okay. Ghost?
My sister's boyfriend is from Halifax, so I'm going to ask him to say ghost next time I see him. But also, the mountain ghost part of it is, like, translates in German to Berggeist. So I think that's where, like, the combination of town ghost
I've heard that
and
before
mountain
as well,
ghost.
Berggeist.
Yeah, I think it's like a German cryptid as well, and I think it's the same. That's how they say it, and then it's just altered.
Yeah.
It is described as a fiend which attaches itself to a particular place. And I had to keep the word fiend in it because, again, it's what the internet said. And I was like, great word
You know, like...
to describe a cryptid.
Yeah, I like fiends.
I like fiend. Great word. Anyway, so it attaches itself to a particular place. This is normally an isolated piece of land, for example, a woodland area or a wasteland. And there have been many reports of one living in an uncanny-looking dale?
Dale?
Combine the words. Dale. Just outside of Darlington. So I think I started reading Darlington and was like, Dial?
Dial.
So yeah, so Darlington's quite north, isn't it? There is a lot of other reports of a Barghest living in a haunted wasteland near Leeds. Do you know, Leeds is a bit more of a well-known city. Yeah, there we go. But sightings haven't just been reported in rural, abandoned areas. I said rural weird, didn't I?
It's a hard word to say. I can't even say my R's, so...
Yeah, and I'm Bristolian. R's and...
Rural.
Just not...
I can't say it.
Rural.
So. Rural.
Anyway, fucking hell. I'm deliriously tired.
I'm so tired. I'm so hungry.
Oh, I'll get a shimmy on them. So it's rumoured that the Barghest will wander into York at night, roaming the streets, preying on lone travellers. It takes advantage of the city's small alleyways to attack its victims. And many stories are told of a dog-like apparition haunting the streets of Newcastle upon Tyne. And this is also thought to be a Barghest.
I mean, I wonder if this was put forward as like a people's, like, I wonder if this comes from two different places. So one train of thought is that perhaps it was like to warn people not to go through shortcuts and like alleyways at night, which is very good advice.
Yeah.
Or if it was to explain disappearances.
Yeah, maybe.
Those are just my thoughts.
That's a good shout.
Them being the thoughts in me head.
Yeah.
In my noggin.
But it's just funny that it's in lots of different places. Like, obviously, all these places are in the north of England, but it's not like the north of England's a small place. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how far away Leeds and York are.
Shall I look?
Go on then. But I don't think it's close. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like popping around the corner. I mean,
you mentioned Newcastle as well, and I don't think it's that close to Leeds.
Yeah. So it's funny how, although this is a northern thing, it's not like they're in the same place.
Yeah, so Leeds and York.
I've been to York before. I'm pretty sure that's like a 4-hour
Leeds and
drive
York
from Bristol.
are only like 27 miles from each other.
Oh, okay. That's closer than I thought.
But Yorkshire is a different place. Oh, no, it's not.
I was going to say, is Yorkshire the county?
This is how little I know. Yeah, so they're only 27 miles. However, Leeds and Newcastle upon Tyne are 102 miles away from each other.
Yeah, so that's quite a significant difference.
Yeah, that ghost steps are like...
Yeah, but then also there are reports of a similar...
Oh yeah, I know, there's multiple ones.
In like different places. So, what is a
if
Barghest?
ghosts can just like, you know, like Sabrina and the Teenage Witch and like... transport.
Yeah, you get bored of scaring people in one city. Head to the next
I'm scared of these people. They ain't scared no more.
I want to terrify some people. Let's go.
That's the Sabrina the Teenage Witch theme tune.
Do you know what? I wouldn't even recognise it. So in tune. I like the dance moves. So what does a Barghest look like? So is described as being a monstrous black goblin dog with huge teeth and claws. It has large saucer-like eyes which have a fiery glow, and it is assumed that it is a nocturnal monster, as reports of the beast are always at night.
I really feel like this could just be me.
You think that you're a Barghest?
I've probably been called it behind my back.
Wait till you hear the rest of the
Mate, I'm
description.
nocturnal.
Yeah, let me carry on with this description, and you can see how similar you are actually to this. So, terrifyingly, it's thought that it can also become invisible.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, I know, that'd be good power. And the only way to know that it's there is if you can hear it dragging its heavy chains behind it, which to me is quite creepy.
It is very creepy. I do have chains on my jeans because I am hip.
I wondered where you were going with that. And you're like, I do have chains that I drag around behind me when I decide to go invisible.
I do have belts of chains on them because, once again, I'm down with the kids. I do like
that's
a lot
what all the
of
kids are wearing these days.
Yeah, I do like wearing a lot of necklaces, but also, you know what it's sounding like? Sounding a little bit like one of the ghosts of Christmas past or something.
Or not. I mean, the last time I watched A Christmas Carol was the Muppets version.
The best one, yes.
Exactly.
The only one worth watching.
Yeah. The one that's in chains, is it not like the Marley Brothers when they come up and they're like, we're Marley?
Okay, but did you know what I meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, so hush. If you're correcting me.
But that's what just made me think of straight away. I knew what you meant, but then that popped into my head.
I thought you were just being pedantic. And I was like, well, I'm sorry I got the ghost wrong from A Christmas Film.
No! No. Okay. Anyway. I might watch it again. I know it's not Christmas, but it's a good film.
You do, you boo.
So, according to a report from the 1970s, it also has the ability to change shape. It's been known to appear as a headless man who disappears by bursting into flames. And other forms it's been known to take is that of a headless woman, a white cat, a rabbit, and a bear. So part of me is like, how do you know if you've come across
Yeah.
a Barghest or just a random apparition of a headless person, man or woman, doesn't matter, a white cat, a rabbit, a bear?
Right, well, you know if it's a bear. I mean, you know, we don't have bears in the UK.
No, but if it's an apparition of a bear or if it's a Barghest, how do you know?
I mean, the other thing I guess I'd say is you wouldn't see an adult albino, aka white rabbit, in the UK because it wouldn't live unless it was an escaped pet, in which case I would be pulling over and be like, oh my god, baby, oh, gotta find your owner. White cat,
Yeah.
beautiful, elegant, love it, love everything about it.
Yeah.
Headless woman.
Creepy.
Yeah, but you know what? I run around like a headless chicken half the time.
So that makes it okay.
Men have no business being headless.
Men have no business having a head.
Wow. Oh shit, out here.
Men have no business.
Men have no business.
So I'm feeling very feminist.
I'm just really feminist today.
I'm just today, like tomorrow I'll go back to not wanting to mow the lawn or put the bins out, but today Aiden did send me a meme the day, and it was like the feminism leaving my body when it's time to take the bins out, and I was like, yeah. So, more about the Barghest. So it's thought to be an omen of death, and if you are unlucky enough to see one, even if only for a second, death will come to you in a few months.
As in, I will die or someone I love.
Oh, my next sentence. This may not always be in the form of death to the eyewitness, but sometimes their family member or loved ones. So yeah, you were right guessing that it might not necessarily be that the person who sees it that passes.
I don't like that because I don't really care if I die, but I don't want anyone I love to die.
Loved. Yeah.
Like, it's me who saw it. Punish me. I suppose
Yeah.
punishing me would be actually having someone else die.
Yeah, that is true.
Punish
Maybe that's
them.
why. Yeah. I'm great. Like they can suffer.
Oh my god, I don't want to die.
But one of the catches of it is it says that, well, or some sources say that it's actually only an omen if it's in the dog form.
Yeah.
So if you see it as a bear or a cat or a headless woman or man, then you'll be fine. So, yeah, it was all a bit.
I'm not a dog person.
Yeah, it was all a bit grey.
It's all a little bit grey.
Yeah. So in Cumbrian folklore, it is described as a frightening spirit which has the power to foretell death. It generally appears in the form of a large black dog, and a strike from its paw leaves a wound that never heals.
It's like being diabetic. There's a little bit. Has that really got you?
Comparing a cryptid to diabetes.
Got that diabetes.
I don't know what's more scary.
I think I'd rather see a cryptid.
I think I'd rather see a baguette, yeah. Oh, God. I don't know why that really got me. So it's also believed that it can foretell death by lying across the threshold of a person's house.
That's a very weird thing to see, isn't it? I suppose not so much if it's a dog. If it's a person...
Yeah, when it said that, though, I kind of just imagine it on, like, where a welcome mat would be outside a house, rather than, like, actually being, like, the door's open, here I am.
Yeah.
Shammooing halfway into your house kind of thing. But weirdly, can't cross a river.
Oh. How the hell does it get all the way... Well, it doesn't, we've established that. Okay, so if you run or jump over a river...
You're free.
Fair.
But then you've seen it, so death's going to come to you anyway, so you might as well just embrace it. One other random fact about them, it's often thought that they appear at the funerals of noble people.
Okay.
And
what, to
other
pay their
dogs.
respects?
Who knows?
Who knows?
But other dogs may also follow and kind of start like a funeral procession and like start howling and barking along with the Barghest. So that was just a random, like, there was literally no explanation to it. It's like, it appears at the funerals of noble people. And I was like, great, why? What's the relevance?
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. So in 1578...
Okay. A few years ago.
Yeah, just a few. In Suffolk, someone published an account of his encounter with what he called the Black Shuck, which, from context, people have just assumed it's the same kind of cryptid.
What's
or
a
like
shuck?
similar. I think it is just another like name for the Barghest, or what it was called back in 1578. But I've paraphrased it because obviously written in Old English. But he basically wrote, "There appeared a dog, black in colour, with devilish likeness. It passed between two people who were kneeling, praying. The beast wrung their necks and pulled backwards in one movement, and they died where they were kneeling."
Well, you bloody would, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Also, in English folklore, Black Shuck, Old Shuck, or simply Shuck is the name given to a ghostly black dog.
Yeah, so same thing, really. Cool. Apparently later on in his tale, it also tells of a third person who was wounded by the Black Shuck. But I couldn't then find anywhere if the guy who'd written this tale and the third person who was injured lived longer than a few months, if they died, or what happened to them.
Yeah.
It was just like, he killed these two guys and I saw it.
Yeah.
But you should die because you saw it. So, who knows? there is another tale of an encounter with a Barghest from the 1830s, and it's called The Legend of Troller's Gill.
Okay.
So it's based in a remote gorge named Troller's Gill, which is located in the Yorkshire Dales, and it's a tale of a man who ventures to the horrid gill of a limestone hill.
It's got a good rhyme.
It is a good rhyme. To summon and confront the Barghest using ritualistic magic. However, the man's lifeless body is discovered soon after with inhuman markings, mostly burns to his chest.
Yeah, the thing is, I was thinking, you don't go alone.
Never go alone.
No.
So that's pretty much all the information that I have on the Barghest, but it's also thought that, like, the folklore and tale of it have obviously inspired a few famous things. So obviously one of the most famous ones is the Hound of Baskerville, the Sherlock Holmes story, and the other one is the Grim from Harry Potter that he finds in his tea leaves. I did also see somewhere that apparently local businesses in these areas, quite similar to the Mothman tales, they don't shy away from it. They actually embrace it to try and bring in customers and tourism to that part of the country. So that's kind of a good thing about it, I guess.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not quite as cool as Mothman, is it?
It does not have the perky bum.
No perky bum. And also, I really like moths, so...
Okay. I guess that's just personal preference.
I just really love Mothman, and I don't know why. I think he's a good, misunderstood dude. I think he was trying to warn you of the bridge. Last podcast on the Left fans will get that. They're just trying to warn you about the bridge. You didn't listen. I mean, I don't make too many jokes about that because sadly people did die. But yeah. I don't understand why he's been a bad guy.
Yeah, I guess it's just the unknown, isn't it? People don't know why he's there, what he is, so it's scary.
I don't know why I'm here or what I am.
You're human and you're here because you are.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for telling us all about
deep insights.
The burger.
The burger, yeah. I do agree though. I do think you're right where it's come from to stop people like traveling the streets at night
and going to gorges on their own and
but like especially in York where they're like, oh, he attacks you in the streets, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that is probably to
and in the alleyways and stuff.
Yeah, stop people going down.
Like, I'm definitely going to be more terrified of just humans.
Anyway, yeah. I mean, wouldn't do that anyway now.
No.
But yeah.
Well, thank you.
Well, with that finished, would you like to move on to our second
ghost spread? I'll ghost spread. Yeah.
So actually, this is sent in from my sister-in-law Chloe, who featured on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. So she sent me some more night terrors.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen, and then you can hear the first bit. And this is her continued more than she can remember. Ever since I can remember, I have always slept, walked and talked. When I was about 10, my brother's girlfriend at the time used to get scared to stay over, as she could hear me talking and muttering in the other room. One night, she apparently heard me laughing and wasn't able to sleep a wink all night. I mean, what isn't creepy about a 10-year-old laughing in the middle of the night? I also used to carry things around the house and do strange things while I was asleep. For example, when I was about 8, I woke up in the morning without my duvet. I couldn't find it anywhere. I decided to go into my mum's room in case I had had a nightmare and I'd forgotten about it. Again, this was very common for me, and I'd taken my duvet in there to spend the night with my mum. There was no duvet in my mum's room, and she said to her knowledge that I hadn't been in the room with her that night. I went downstairs, maybe thinking that I'd tried to sleep on the sofa last night instead, but it wasn't there either. I began checking every single room in the house and eventually went into the spare room. That's where I found my duvet draped over the drum kit. I had no idea how it got there and have absolutely no memory of doing this. My mum also told me about an occasion when I was a child where I went downstairs after going to bed and I would just knock on the living room door and keep knocking even after she'd opened the door. She would then scoot me back upstairs into bed without waking me. One big night terror that I can remember is when I went to Portugal for my friend's hen party. I was sharing a room with my other friend. Thankfully, it wasn't the hen, and she knew that I suffered night terrors, but she'd never experienced me having one. One night, the rest of the hens stayed out, but we decided to go back a bit earlier as we were absolutely shattered. We went to bed, and within the first 2 hours of going to sleep, it happened. I don't remember any of it, but this is what my friend told me. I woke up with a blood-curdling scream while I was in bed. I then started throwing the duvet around and I jumped out of bed and started to run to the door. I fell over and was just screaming by the door. I was awoken by my friend trying to comfort me and soothe me, saying that I was having a nightmare and it would be okay. I know I was quicker to come round that time, and I was so embarrassed that I'd woken her up. I don't remember what happened in that one, but my friend said it looked like I was being chased by someone or something based on where I was looking and how I was running away screaming. I've told people about these night terrors, and some of my friends who are paranormal believers think it could be a demon attached to me. I've seen a sleep therapist about my terrors, and they think it's a response to something in my past that my brain can't get rid of. But I can't remember anything traumatic like this happening to me personally. So where did these terrors come from? Thank you for reading, Chloe.
So, first of all, thank you, Chloe. Secondly, so I suppose the thing is, we don't really know why we dream.
No, dreaming's like mad anyway, I think.
Yeah. We're not, obviously we know why we dream, we know what dreaming is, but we don't really know why we dream of certain things and don't dream of other things.
Yeah.
I have really random recurrent nightmares. So I kind of want to disagree. I mean, I'm not a sleep expert, so who am I to disagree? But I kind of want to disagree with them saying it's like a repressed memory, because she was quite young when she first started having it.
Yeah, and she doesn't remember there being a big trauma in her life that would cause night terrors. Do you know what I mean? It's not like anything.
And you feel like her parents would be aware of it as well.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not like they then diagnosed her with PTSD.
Exactly. I just wonder if it's a bit like, I have really vivid dreams all the time. And I just wonder if it's something like that, but it plays out in a slightly different way. Also, I have laughed in my sleep before, and I have to say it's the best feeling ever, laughing in your dream and then laughing out loud. It's a really good feeling.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't think I've ever done it then. Orla laughs in her sleep.
Oh, that's cute.
Which is it's cute, but also kind of creepy. Because she'll be like...
she's plotting.
Yeah, she is. She's evil. No, I'm joking. She's cute.
But yeah, they sound genuinely terrifying. I don't think it's anything paranormal, though. I think it's just, unfortunately, our brain.
Yeah. I think it's just something that some people suffer with, unfortunately, is like that lucid dreaming where your mind's awake but your body's asleep.
Yeah, and it really seems to suck that she's got that. I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you listen to the episode?
I did.
Yeah, oh, good. So, yeah, because obviously she had one at my dad's birthday.
Yeah.
And me and my sister were both like, oh, it's just Chloe. And, like, Aiden and Rich were like,
terrified.
Who's that? Is there someone in the house? And we were like, oh, whatever.
But yeah, I don't think it's paranormal. I think, sadly, she's just had a bad luck with it. I had a friend growing up who sleepwalked. She didn't have night terrors, but she sleepwalked. And she did it twice when we were having a sleepover. And one time she was like, she woke me up. I was on the mattress on the floor and she was in bed. And she like pulled back her covers and was like, "Come play Sylvanian Families." And I was like, "It's really late at night." And she was like, "Come on." And I was like, "No." And then another time she woke me up because she was standing up and was like pointing like, "Put it back in the basket." And I was like, oh, and I had to get her to lie back down. But I know her mum found her like like one time her mum woke up to hear like a thud and ow, thud, ow, and looked under her bed, and she'd gotten under her bed and was just trying to stand up, but like obviously kept just hitting her head on her mum's like bottom of the bed. My mum was like, "Abigail, come on."
How did she get under the
I
bed?
know, people doing the same thing. She once made herself a sandwich and sat in front of the TV while it was turned off and just sat there, and her mum found her and was like,
Oh, that must actually be kind of creepy.
yeah. So I just think, unfortunately, some people just have really active brains whilst they're asleep. It's mad that we haven't developed like a medication for it, but again, would you want to be medicated? I don't know. That'd be personal preference, I guess.
It's one of those things that probably, yes, it will stop you sleepwalking, but will it also stop you waking up in an emergency? Will it stop that? Like,
I suppose it'd be interesting if taking something like diazepam or like lorazepam, like, you know, mild sedatives, did make me laugh a little bit in You, the TV series, when she had diazepam. They're like, they're really strong tranquilizers. I was like, that depends on the dose, and how you're administering it. But yeah, or like just like a Zopiclone or something. Like, I wonder if a sleeping tablet or something would suppress it. You do wake up with like Zopiclone. It helps you get to sleep. It doesn't keep you asleep.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Dreaming is fascinating.
It's mental, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I love that we dream.
Oh, I love dreaming. I have the best dreams. I had a really horrible dream the other night that a patient died, and I was like consoling like their elderly husband. But then it kind of went better because I walked past the room and she turned into a bamboo stick.
Great.
So, you know.
Yeah, I mean...
And I love how in my dream that was fine. I just accepted that. I was like, oh, she's a bamboo stick now.
Like, you're just a bamboo stick. So I need to start, like, writing down my dreams because I keep having, like, absolutely batshit crazy. Like, they're not scary. They're just, like...
My dreams are mental, and I think it's
weird.
because of my medication. I've definitely noticed my, like, antidepressants make you have crazier dreams.
So I think hormones do as well because, like, since when I was pregnant, I had weird dreams, and like it was at a point where they were so vivid, but they were also like that could happen. It got to a point where it was like quite hard to... I'd have conversations with people and I'd be like, I can't remember if that conversation we had was a dream or real.
No, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, I'd never had it before till I was pregnant, and then I was like, oh god.
Yeah, no, that's just
like, no wonder pregnant women are always so confused.
But yeah, thank you, Skylar, thank you, Chloe, and thank you, Jess.
Oh, that's okay.
I better go and make my mum dinner before she keels over.
She sounded pretty angry.
Yeah, she shouted.
Is she in the corner of the room? Oh, the way you looked, it was like I thought she might have come into the room and just been staring at you, like.
Yeah, she's.
Come on.
She's hungry, but yeah.
Fair. I get that.
So yeah, thank you everyone.
Yeah, thank you for your stories. Keep sending them in.
And go for
as
us
always,
on TikTok.
we love it.
Check out Haunted UK podcast and The Ugly Game. And, of course, you know what to do. Stay safe and stay
spooky.
Hey guys, if you have a ghost story or a case suggestion, please email us. truecrimecovinpod@gmail.com.
You can also find us on Twitter @TrueCrimeCoven or on Instagram and Facebook where we are @TrueCrimeCovenPod.
Also, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could rate us wherever you're listening to this right now, be it Spotify, Apple Music, or if you're on YouTube, give us a little thumbs up, click that bell, get notifications every time we post.
Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts from.
Make these two witches smile.
Thanks, witches. Sorry, Simon.